Locations of interest is a new feature within the AI Max for Search campaign set of features. It's not quite a new campaign type, but it is a new set of tools that we haven't had before. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out this video right here. But I want to talk about just locations of interest today, because just because it sounds like some of the previous location targets, it operates a little bit differently, and there might be some really cool use cases out there. So in this video, let's talk about how locations of interest can work in AI Max for Search, and talk about whether or not you might want to use them in your account. We're going to start by covering some location targeting fundamentals in a Google Ads campaign. To do that, let's just go ahead and navigate to campaign settings for this search campaign that we have here. And then for now, we're going to skip past this AI Max section and come down to locations. If I open that up, you can see that it defaults to United States. At least it did for me when I built this campaign. Then we're going to open up location options. Every time you choose your location targeting or the geographic portion of the world that you want to target users in, you get this option of a setting. First, and by default, is presence or interest. This is people in, regularly in, or who have shown interest in your included locations. I'm actually going to start with the bottom one because it's a little bit clearer. Presence. This is people who are in or are regularly in your included locations. This is a physical presence. That means that somebody is in the city, country, state, whatever that you're targeting. So for this example, I'm targeting the United States. That means that this campaign is only going to target people who are physically in the United States or regularly visit the United States. Anybody outside of that region will not be targeted. So this is the more black and white setting when it comes to your locations. Now the one that is chosen by default is going to be called presence or interest. So presence still holds, but there's an added field here. This is going to be people who are in or regularly in, or who have shown interest in your included locations. Google recommends this because it's got a little bit more reach, but it'll still include everybody who has a presence in your targeted location. But the added layer, with a little bit more expansion there, is around people who've shown interest in your included locations. So in the example, I have United States selected. But if there's somebody who is in Spain, let's say, who has been regularly looking for something in the United States, maybe a hotel or maybe a certain experience, like visiting our national parks, let's say, that user might be shown an ad because even though they are outside the physical location of the United States, they are regularly searching for and are interested in things that are in the United States. So if what that person is searching for matches to your campaigns, you have the option to show them an ad if you select this presence or interest option. Now we go through all of that because effectively, that's going to be how locations of interest work for AI Max. I'm going to leave this open. We'll see if Google leaves the drop-down open. But now we're going to scroll up to this AI Max section, and I'm going to just toggle on AI Max. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit in an effort to try and see the location and AI Max targeting at the same time. So here you can see that we've got asset optimization. You still have whether you want text customization or final URL expansion, but now we've opted into the AI Max settings. You might think that your locations of interest are going to be in the location targets, but they're not. All of your location settings at the campaign level still apply as they always did with a search campaign. AI Max does not change that. It does not opt you into additional locations or anything like that. And your location option can still be presence or interest or just physical presence depending on what you want. Locations of interest actually live at the ad group level within AI Max. So let's click out of this. Let's close this one down. Head into our ad group. Now I'm just going to click the settings button here. And now you can see that the ad group is opted into AI Max. It has search term matching, brand inclusions, URL inclusions, but also locations of interest. This is where you're able to add an additional layer of targeting that effectively captures only that interest that somebody had, regardless of their physical presence. So for the campaign I have right now, I already have it targeted to the United States. But if I want to expand the targeting just for this ad group to include people in, let's say, some European countries who might be interested in the United States, so I would just come in here and start typing in a handful of the European countries that I want added in place, that I want my ad group to potentially match to. And now users in these 5 European countries have the option to see my ad from this ad group if they are searching for something that I'm offering because it is related to the United States specifically. So again, the example we keep coming back to is hotels, because that's something that somebody might want. They might regularly be searching for it. But if users in Germany are looking for a hotel in the United States, and you just so happen to be a hotel in the United States in the region where they're trying to stay, you have the option to show your ad for that user in Germany because you've added a location of interest. Now, in terms of use cases for this, we've already given kind of an example, but you can get an idea of if people are actively searching for something in your location, but they aren't physically there. This is a very easy way to expand that targeting a bit. And with the locations of interest being added at the ad group level, you have the option to either apply all of the same locations of interest within a campaign across the ad groups, which might take a little bit of work, or depending on what you're offering, you might have different ad groups targeted at different expanded areas with locations of interest. Maybe this ad group, I have it targeting people in Europe, but then in another one, I have it targeting people in Asia, another one, folks in Africa. Just depends on how you're trying to target and what type of signals you're seeing from different users, in my case, across the world. But again, this is just country level targeting. You can take this all the way down to your city, a specific state, or even a postal code. At this point, think of all the times you thought maybe you should expand your campaign level targeting, but didn't want to have quite that big of an impact on your campaigns. Now you can expand and find only the people who are trying to search for something specifically in your area. Now, one thing that I do want to call out is that you don't have to use all of the features within AI Max to be able to leverage locations of interest. Let's go ahead and save these. And then if I head back into the campaign settings for this campaign, you'll remember I turned on AI Max, but you can turn off text customization and final URL expansion. Click apply. We'll close this down, head back into the ad group settings, and we've still retained all of the locations of interest that we added previously. Don't forget that AI Max is not actually a different campaign type. It's a set of features that you're applying within your search campaigns. Locations of interest just so happens to be one of those features, as well as text customization and final URL expansion. But the biggest part about AI Max is that you'll remember it turns your campaign sort of into a combination of a dynamic search ads campaign if you leave the final URL expansion and text customization on, but it also effectively turns your campaign into a broad match campaign. So if you want to use locations of interest, you have to be okay using broad match keywords because AI Max is going to opt you into those settings. So while you might have your phrase and exact match terms in your campaign, they're going to operate like a broad match keyword. I hopped back into the campaign settings just to get Google's documentation on this. You can see here, the feature says that it will easily expand your keywords with broad match technology and let Google AI match content from your landing pages and assets to help you show up on more relevant searches. So that second part about landing pages and assets, that comes down in this area here, and it operates more like DSA, but broad match, it definitely turns that on in your campaign. I personally think locations of interest is a really cool option that advertisers can have. The biggest drawback is that I don't love broad match. So in this instance, for the most part, I'm probably not going to use these for my clients unless I have some really specific use cases where it makes sense. But that said, I've seen tons of accounts that have lots of success with broad match, and those accounts would be a great fit for testing out locations of interest and seeing how they perform differently. Now, like I said, I've not been using this for my accounts, but you'd be able to see the performance in a locations report. So let's go ahead and close out of these settings, click down into locations, and then since this is our placeholder account, nothing has been shown, but you will be able to see locations of interest in the locations report. You'll see clicks, impressions, click-through rate, average CPC, cost, but if you pull open these columns, you'll still be able to see all the conversion performance, all of that good stuff, just like you would for your other location targets. So in my mind, this is a great option that Google added. They made it very easy to find how not only your locations are performing, but also very clearly separated your locations of interest as well. And all of those now live on their own tab in the locations report. So you'll be able to see how they're performing and you'll see which ad groups they're performing for. I think Google has learned a little bit over the past couple of years, and they started this feature with this level of reporting. My guess is if they would have released this in 2023 or something, we probably wouldn't have seen any insights into this. But I'm a big fan of this, and I love that you'll be able to see all the performance right off the bat to know if these locations of interest are working for you or not. If you have any additional questions about the locations of interest targeting or anything else about AI Max in Google, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching our video. We really appreciate it. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up below. If you really liked it, maybe think about subscribing to the Paid Media Pros YouTube channel and you'll get alerted every time a new video drops.
If you really liked it, you can help support the channel by checking out some of the t-shirts that we're wearing on our merch shelf, as well as looking at the Super Thanks button.